everybody. All right. Okay, I think we're live. Let me know if you can't hear anything or if you don't see anything, but I think everything should be good. Sound okay? All good. Thank you. All right. So who's here? Adri, Animotion, Eric, Andy, Jeff, Rich. Let's see. Tracker Jack, greetings. Onyx, good to see you, man. My case, cortical larvae. That's a new one. Cool. Welcome. It's too quiet? Is the level too low? You guys tell me. Let's bring in a little ARP. You tell me. It's quite low this time. All right. Well, we could fix that. Trying out some new stuff here. Let's go just throw a utility and up the gain for simplicity. Before I blow my ears out. Alright, let's bring this up a bit. How's that? Let me know if that's okay. There's a 9 dB bump on the output. You let me know. Loads better. Good. Let me know if you hear clipping. I'm pretty sure we're gain staged okay. So, what's going on today? Generative stuff today. So, let's see if you can see this. Let's see. All right. So, I am broadcasting the, where is my mouse pointer? As I get older, man, I lose the mouse pointer all the time. All right. So, what's going on here? So I've got 3 tracks playing. Today's going to be sort of not instructional, but it's going to be a breakdown of this sort of generative thing I've built here, pseudo-generative. Now, what's going on is I've got 3 sort of source MIDI clips. Okay. And we are in G pentatonic minor. Okay. So I've got 3 clips, and these clips are an arpeggiation source clip, a lead source clip, and a bass source clip. All right, and they're just big ass clips, 8 bars long for the bass, that has the notes. It's the notes for G minor pentatonic just slapped into the clip. And I'm telling Ableton to, every time the clip plays through, pick one of those and just only play one, basically. In Ableton 12, there's a new feature in clips where you can group notes together, and you can group them so that they always play together, or you can group them so that it randomly selects one of them and plays that, and that's what I'm doing. So my bass line, let's take just out the bass. So here's our bass. So the bass will play for 8 bars. It's going to sustain this note. This is the Nord wave, and it's actually playing a sample from the Lyra 8. And be patient with me, we'll let this roll around. When it gets to the end of the clip here and comes back to the beginning, it'll pick a different note. But they're all in G pentatonic minor. All right, so if we bring our ARP back, the ARP pattern is essentially the same. A little broader range, but all still G pentatonic minor. And these are grouped in groups of 3. So one of these 3 notes will play at the start of this cycle. One of these 2 notes will play. One of these 4 notes will play. And the roots G, G1 and G2 always play. And the arpeggiation is the random ones. So of those notes that get selected out of there, they're holding this chord down, and then the arpeggiator is choosing a random pattern from amongst those and then playing them for 8 bars. So you hear the pattern change when we come up around here, and the bass note will change too. So, let's see. Gotta keep up with the chat here. No C major today. Sorry, Andy, no. I'm a fan of C major, but cortical larvae, not so much. That's okay. Hey, Rob. Thanks for coming by, man. If you can't stay, you can't stay. That's no harm, no foul. It's okay. Oh, you know what? It's the stupid top chat. Hold on. I was like, I didn't see Wabbit in here, but it's because it's not live chat. All right. Let's see. Helical Coil, welcome back, I should say. Enzo, welcome back. All right. So, so basically these source clips are just generating MIDI, right? And I've got one for leads as well. Let's take the ARP out. I've got a lead that's doing the same thing. A little CS80 clone there, coming out of the Cobalt 8. Ah, okay. Is that what it was, Rich? Cool. Oh, and there's there's Wabbit. We were just talking about you, Wabbit, in a good way. All right. And the lead's doing the same thing, basically. So what we've got is 3 random streams of MIDI notes that are all in the same key. One for bass, one for lead, and one for an arpeggiation. Okay. So these are just playing and running through the system. Then over here, I've got tracks with the hardware synths on them, and they are taking feeds from. So I've got 2 feeding from the ARP sources. I've got the Hydrosynth here. So let me bring these through. So what we're looking at in this generative sort of system, I've got the Hydrosynth playing an ARP. Effects are generally in Ableton. I don't tend to use the in-synth effects because I prefer the sort of consistency of blending together the stuff in Ableton, with the exception being like the Wave 2. I'll use some of its internal effects. The Summit's internal effects are really good. And I've just got the Hydrosynth, so I'm still learning it. The Hamilorian scale, that's what it was. Hamilorian mode. So nice. All right, so Hydrosynth's playing an ARP here. The mod wave, right? And I can mix these. The idea is that I can mix all these together. Our bass is, we've got the Wave 2, which is playing this Lyra 8 sample that I made a couple of years ago. And let's see. It's about to change. When it changes, it swells. Like that. All right. And then we've got other bass as being the Micro Freak, actually. I'm going to let this play by. I'm going to solo this for a second. This is the Micro Freak. It's playing a an organ patch, and I'm running it through the roar effect in Ableton 12. And if you like, if you're one of those people who likes playing with modular synths and setting up sort of almost stable or mostly stable, almost unstable feedback loops, the roar device in Ableton is right up your alley. So if you play with modular and you use Ableton, go check out roar as a processor. Yeah, it's definitely all the feedback, Jeff. It's a really interesting device. So that's between the two basses if I bring in the Lyra 8 sample. Let me know if that's too sharp. Some of the feedback's a little crispy. Yeah, really interesting. And then what else do we have? We have two more instruments doing the generative stuff. We've got a Summit playing a lead here. It's like this soft, fluty, sort of lo-fi thing. I'm not a big fan of lo-fi. I think I said once or twice, right? If I wanted lo-fi, I'd turn on Dolby B. I grew up in the 80s. And I remember the cassettes, and you put the cassette in, it would say, has Dolby B on it, and you just have to turn on the Dolby B switch, and all it did was make things sound like crap. So if I want lo-fi, I'll use Dolby B, but I do like this sound. And then the same lead is also the Cobalt 8. ES8 and ES9. Oh, Expert Sleepers. Are those the ones that use audio for... are those CV sources? Because I can see your CV being mangled by roar is an interesting thing. All right, so those are in place. Today as a generative sort of thing. Okay. I used to have all the Expert Sleepers toys once upon a time. No, not their new stuff, but the stuff from 8 years ago. Anything left of the Pluck Monster? Yeah, there's a few modules. I got 6 oscillators sitting over there if anyone wants to buy them. I have 4 braids and 2 plats. Clones, not originals. I still have the enclosure because my son and I made the enclosure. I'm never going to get rid of that. That's like a sentimental thing. It also gives me an excuse to build another modular later. Right? Because it's just a pendulum, right? For anybody who was sad that I got rid of the modular, it's been gone for a long time, and I just brought it back, did a thing with it, and then out it goes. So it'll come back. So yeah, what else is there's a bunch of stuff behind the shiny curtain here, a lot of utility stuff. And the oscillators are up on Reverb for like what I think are really good prices. Like normally, if you sell something on Reverb and your price is too high, it'll give you a little like nasty gram, little like indicator to say, hey, your price is higher than average and it's not going to sell and we're not going to make any money. But I'm not getting those alerts, so I think it's okay. And I'm not in any rush, so it's not like it's a fire sale. I don't need to make rent, so the mortgage payment is okay. And then so those are 6 sounds that are coming. They're all being driven generatively, and then I've got the bass because I like to play my bass melodies. And then just a nice little lead. With way too much delay in reverb. So that's the state of the world there. All right. was working on a rant for today, actually. So, has anyone bought Astrolab from Arturia? The hand game, yes. I don't want to, so it's like knuckles up is me. Palm up is Wabbit. So I'm plagiarizing Wabbit, right? The Astrolab. I'm not going to rant about the Astrolab. I was thinking about ranting about all of the videos about the Astrolab because they fall into the Venn diagram of those videos are like in 3 circles. One of them is the product release videos about the Astrolab, and then videos of people dumping all over the Astrolab. And then interestingly, in the last couple days, a bunch of videos have popped up of people backpedaling, walking back there, dumping on it and going, oh, it's actually, it's not for what we thought it was, it's for this other thing. And I don't know if those are people who were like, got sponsored or were offered, I'm not gonna say offered money to change their opinion, but I think they received an Astrolab, complained about it, and then might have had a correction message arrive in their inbox. And they're like, oh, you know what? My perspective on what it was for was sort of not the point, right? Because I've seen enough of them that, because I that's what I do when I'm walking the dog. I'm either reading a book, but I'm between books right now, listening to it on Audible. So I just put on like a random 20-minute video and just listen to it as I'm walking the dog. That's, 3 times a day. I consume a lot of those videos. And I just got on a whim. I watched one guy's, little OCD here. Whenever there's a speck of dust on there, I just got to pick that off there. All right. I get a little, when I'm walking the dog, I saw Sanjay C's video and was like mildly interested and then also semi-triggered by some stuff. And then I'm like, let's just go watch them all. and I noticed this sort of Venn diagram of like, wow, there's like 3 buckets. There's the people who are, reviewing it or giving you their thoughts on it. There's people who are shitting all over it. And then there's people who are walking back their shitting on it. So I don't know. Oop, come here, you. Oh, man. OCD. Come on, get out of there. This is a new performance technique, using our dusting brush. There we go. Brush wave, absolutely. All right, let's rotate this out. Kind of in DJ mode today. I'm not going to do any live looping today. Berlin brushed. Yeah, exactly. Hold on. Wait a minute. Here we go. So it's been a while since I've shown people the collection of brushes. Here's the brush collection. We have the soft brush for the push. We have the extra soft brush for displays on synths, right? This is a makeup brush I stole from my wife before she actually got the chance to use it. And then there's the paintbrush for those really hard to get off bits of dust on the right on the synths out there. I tend to keep dust, I call it dust covers. I don't know. They're basically yoga blankets. My favorite dust covers are these things off of Amazon called rat towels. And they're, 3 foot by 2 foot yoga towels. And they're microfiber, and they're just the right weight that they press down and keep the dust from creeping in. But they're so thin that they're easy to clean and, take care of, et cetera, et cetera. And I've got a few. It used to be, what's it called? Oh, what are those vacuum formed covers for everything? Oh, who makes those? Deck Saver. It used to be, when you walked into the studio, it used to be Deck Savers as far as the eye could see. And now there are 4 Deck Savers sitting over there on the desktop modules, right? And I actually, for my birthday's coming up in July, and I'm putting on my birthday wish list. I do want a Deck Saver for the Push 3, but the prices are crazy. When I bought them for the Push 2, they were like $50. Now they're like $90. So if you got a deal on one of those, let me know. Makeup tutorial, sure. I could do a makeup tutorial, Anna, but or what's it? Bob Ross, right? We'll call it a paintbrush. We'll type happy little arpeggiators here. Right? We'll do that kind of thing. Right. So the Brush Master, yeah. Hey, New Ignis, welcome. Who popped in while I wasn't paying attention? Let's see. The circle of shit. Yeah, I know. I love gear videos. I really do. Buy more synths is the motto, right? Responsibly, but. In case my son's watching. My son likes cars. My son's like, buy more cars. If your Push 2 had MPE, you'd buy a brush and play it that way. Yep. What about eyeshadow? What is it? I can do a smoky eye or something like that. Or I'll just get a smoky eye when my wife pops me in the eye for stealing her makeup brush. Right. And so you're debating on a Push 3? What are you debating about? So, because it's a good thing, but if you've got a Push 2, you may not need it unless you really want that integrated audio interface or MPE. But Deck Saver, yeah, doing this, thanks. Vacuum brush. So here's a question. Someone told me once that those vacuum brushes, those little handheld ones, generate a ton of synth frying static electricity. I don't know if that's true or not. Let me know if there's any people out there in the know. I'm not sure, but I don't use those, and I don't use like the house vacuum cleaner to take dust off of things because someone said it generates a lot of static electricity. I don't know if that's the case or not, but we've properly derailed the live stream. It's okay. It's playing back there. Let's see. Profit margins. /gas equals BMS. Don't know what that means, Adri. You'll have to elaborate on that one. Does he have Deck Savers for his cars? No, we considered buying him one when we first came up here because we didn't have a garage and his car was out in the snow, and they sell those sort of like covers that the snow, you put it on the car and the snow falls, and then when you have to go to work in the morning, you just grab the cover, except that it's really a hassle to deal with the cover full of snow as well, so we didn't do it. Do not use vacuums near electronics. All right, that's the tip for today. No vacuums near electronics, too much static. Let's see. Wear a grounding strap. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. All right, you guys are good. It's going by so fast I'm missing it. All right, let's make some noise first. BMS is, buy more synths. Duh. Thanks, Adri. Yeah. Push 3 seems 55 for a Deck Saver. It's wow. I gotta figure out how to let people post links in here without making them admins. Share that link. Go put it in a comment somewhere. Put it a comment on this video or something. Because everywhere I look, they're $90. So unless the prices came down, maybe I was looking too soon. What are those cloths called exactly? They're called rat towels, believe it or not. Rat like the vermin. So, hey, Homegrown, welcome aboard. I am wearing pants. Don't say I don't wear pants. Stop that. check Thomann. Thanks. Thomann's shipping over to Boston is really fast. It's like 2 days from Berlin. There's a bunch of things they can't ship, though, because, contractually they're not allowed to ship into the U.S., which is annoying. One of the things I wanted a travel case for the Nord Wave 2. And there are 2 variants of the case. One's this really big fancy thing that costs like $400, and then there's a really cheap one that's like $100. Except that you can't get the cheap one in the United States. You can only get the really expensive one. But Thomann has the cheap one, and every time I tried to order it, I tried twice, so every time. But I get the angry, sorry, we can't ship to the U.S. So this particular item. It's kind of frustrating. Like, why can't I circumvent those contracts? Damn it! Right. Yeah, I'd like to ship them to Andy and have them ship over here, but I think that's really expensive. Otherwise, I would have sent, not our Andy, or to Rich. Well, Rich, are you in Holland or Sweden? I've forgotten. I would have sent you guys modules, except that I think it's really like cost prohibitive. And then I don't know if it's VAT. I apologize. I don't know anything about UK or European commerce. But I've looked at a year ago. I looked at just sending a very small package over to the UK, and it was crazy. It was like more than $100 to get it through. It was bizarre. I installed Jamtaba this morning, so that's going to be the next experiment. Jamtaba is a jamming. It is a way to let people in separate parts of the world hear each other and layer their music together, and it introduces latency that's time aware and beat and meter aware. So like you can set it so that I start playing, right? And we agree on a tempo, and I think now it might even send MIDI across the wire. I haven't looked at it in a while, but I just installed it this morning. And basically it allows me to jam with you, and we're 8 bars or 4 bars or 16 bars away, but our clocks are still relatively synchronized. Although it works really good with drones, you don't have to worry about it at all. But if you're doing something rhythmic, it'll help you synchronize the downbeats. It's interesting. A bunch of people, a bunch of you in here have been experimenting with it. Talked to Rich and Andy and who else? Jeff, I think. It looks interesting, and so I went and installed it this morning. I might try jamming with you guys later. It only supports C major. Nice. Well, I'm out. The other keys are DLC, of course. It's individual note microtransactions. It'll do microtonal stuff too, but you got to pay. I love dive bombs. Unison makes E major. Oh God. Cover's been blown. Nice. Thanks, Homegrown. Let's change it up. Let's change what's running in the background up. Let's bring that micro freak with the roar crazy stuff in. I like the weird feedbacky, glitchy things, but I also like melody and harmony. So it's like this balancing act. So it gets grating on my ears after a while. So I can only bring it in for a little while. Some Summit. And let's do this. Let's go to our bass here. And bring in the sub. Ableton Roar versus mother-in-law roar. Oh my God. I'm sorry I missed that. Does someone have their mother-in-law coming? My mother-in-law's coming up, actually, for Mother's Day. I have a good relationship with her, though, so... Ceruleal. I hope I'm saying that right. I apologize. I'm not teasing you about your name. It's just that certain vowel combinations don't flow off of my New England American tongue very well, and you got one of them in there, man. Axel works better. Okay. To Old England, they're still over there, man. Talk to Andy. Synchrotron. Where's my mouse pointer? All right. So let's see. So this bass sound that I use, it's got a thing where if you play a note really hard at 127 velocity, it will do a grace note that slides up. But when I get into it, I lose track, and I basically, where is it? And I turn everything into a grace note, which is a mistake. So hold on a second. Ableton makes something called the MIDI effect for velocity. Let's go stick that on the channel. And we will limit the upper maximum velocity to 125. Now I can bang on it and not get that grace note, which sometimes is annoying if it triggers when I don't want it. Thanks. might actually be too much delay on that lead. Jazz note there. Have I done that hardware jam challenge yet? You must be talking to Jeff. Yes, anything becomes ambient. That's so true. Enough reverb. Bring that other lead back in. Hey, Skyer. get, when I'm into it, there's a part of your brain that's attached to your facial muscles, right? There's that old cartoon artwork where someone's trying to hit a nail with a hammer, and to increase their precision, their like tongue sticks out of their mouth, right? Or if you ever, when you're playing, you find your face scrunching up, like music face. I have that right now. All my muscles are like tense. Thanks, Webbit. The timing's off too. Let's see, what am I missing here in the chat? Yeah, stank face. Exactly. Bass face. Yes. Let's see, what else is going on? I'm waiting for a Prophet 12 to arrive, desktop module. I bought it on Reverb a couple days ago, and it is not lost, but it is delayed in an interesting way. Delayed in transit, says USPS. Ugh. It's insured though, so it should be okay in transit. But it was going to be here Thursday, and then it got delayed to Friday, and now it's been delayed till Monday. And I'm just hoping it's not getting like kicked around the warehouse floor or something like that. So I don't own any Dave Smith / sequential synths. The collection has a big gap in it, and I was going to get a Take 5, but I was, on Reverb, as one is wont to do, and I've always actually wanted a Prophet 12 because I'm OCD about tuning, and even though I know the sequential analog synths stay in tune, the Prophet 12 has digitally controlled oscillators, or digital oscillators. I don't remember whether they're digital or digitally controlled. I think they're digital, actually. Hey, Steve. And I've always wanted one, but they were just sort of priced out, and they're not made anymore. So I was like, oh, I'm sure the price is coming down. Not, right? I'm sure they're getting higher. And this one walked across my desktop, and it was like reasonable. It was about the same cost as a used P12 was at the same price as a new Take 5, which is what I was actually looking at. And I was like, I waffled about it, and then was like, you know what? Let's go for it. And that's what happened. So hopefully it'll be here, and you guys will see it next weekend. So yeah, I mean, my experience with USPS, FedEx, and UPS, and the other one, what's the yellow one? There's a yellow. UPS is brown. There's another, DHL. My experience with them is I got no problems. I haven't had anything. I've had a few shipments destroyed, but there was no problem getting reimbursed for them. DHL. I have a very good family friend who works for DHL. He is a guy like on the truck doing deliveries, and I don't have. They do good work. But I've never had anything, destroyed to a degree where it's a loss. So I don't know. Count myself lucky. Knock on something like wood, right? But it's not so bad. So that'll be here hopefully Monday, and I'll try and work it in, and we'll put it right here on the desktop and see what's what. So let's see. Helium, you went to the Moog factory. Oh, just before it closed, right? Yeah, the shop's going away. That was like a we have friends in Sevierville, Tennessee, which is just sort of over the border from Asheville. Well, not over it's over the border. It's in Tennessee, but it's like en route. We would stop, see our friends in Sevierville, and then we would go make the pilgrimage to the Moog Factory store in Asheville. And there's a really kick-ass pinball arcade history museum kind of place. It's like $10 and play all of the games all day, like free access to all the pinballs. That's in Asheville too. It's awesome. There's no late. Like, I'm amazed that you all show up at all. Right? Like, I'm just making noise and shooting the shit. So that's all good. Let's change it up a little bit, actually. Bring some glitches in. Take the ARPs out for a little bit. What else is going on? So there was in another synth community on YouTube that I enjoy. There's a synth community that I wasn't sure about. There was a guy doing synth videos, and he's got a character he plays. And basically he can't be like the way he is on his channel. There's no way he can be like that in real life. Maybe he is, and maybe I'm insulting him, but he's a little over the top on his channel, and I would imagine that in real life he's not quite so over the top. But I was like peripherally hanging out in his channel, and the thing is, I have this old childhood memory of watching Bloodsport, the Jean-Claude Van Damme film, with my father. He came home from work and he had, one of the VHS cassette tapes from a rental place under his arm. And I was always like, when I was 12 years old, I was hot watching for that stuff. I'm like, if Dad walks in the door with a VHS cassette, it means that him and me are going to watch something awesome. And he comes in and he holds up the case and he looks at me, he sets his briefcase down and he's like, I got you a love story we're going to watch. I was like, what is that? And it was, well, actually, the first time we ever called it a love story, it ended up being, what was the first Rambo film? First Blood. We watched First Blood. That was I got the love story. And we watched First Blood. But after that, anything that was like guy movie night it's a love story. And we watched Bloodsport with Jean-Claude Van Damme. And so this synth community is doing this sort of 8-week challenge. Can you make a piece of music every week? But the theme is like Bloodsport and like bad karate cheese from the 80s. It's the best. So I cranked out, I threw up an alt on Bandcamp, because that sort of stuff really doesn't fit into my Synth Seeker musical review. So I created an alt, and basically cranked out this synthwave piece that it's total cheese, and I love it absolutely. I may mention it in a big link to it in a video, but yeah, it's good. So 7 more weeks of like Bloodsport style cheese synthwavy stuff is on the horizon here. So let's see what else. Where are we going? It's 2:58, so we're winding down here. Let's see. And this is interesting. Everybody's doing okay. All right, so there's no questions, nothing like that. Well, anyway, so I've been at this about an hour now. So I hope you're having a good time. This was generative stuff today, right? I was feeding all of these synths some stuff being generated out of Ableton with a little pseudo randomness, right? Forcing it to a key, telling it to using the new group notes stuff. We've got Roar generating this weird, glitchy, almost modular-esque feedback loop thing going on there. And used a bunch of hardware and the bass, and that is what it is. I'll see if I can get the Prof 12 in here. I'm currently reading the Hydrasynth manual. That's what's sitting here. It's the really expensive laptop stand, Hydrasynth Deluxe. Because I don't know if you saw last week, Hydrasynth Deluxe arrived and it was broken. So essentially, it was a laptop stand that was rather pricey. So. Rich, thanks very much. Andy, all good. All right. Well, if you guys are suitably entertained, we'll call it a day. And I look forward to talking to you later, seeing you in the comments or on your channels or wherever. All right. Having a great time. Thanks for playing. Okay. I will see you later. Let's see. It's always like, which monitor and which touch surface do I need to control for the next step of shutting down the stream? All right. Have a good one. Talk to you later. Bye.